Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paladins Open Qualifiers, and welcome to Paladins Esports in general. It's been a while. We've taken a little bit of a break, but we're back. My name is Rainday, and this is Hi-Rez Pretty Hair. We're here to walk you through the action for today. It should be an exciting one, Nick, and I know all of us have been eagerly awaiting this moment.
Absolutely, and one thing before we get started here, guys. I would like to present to you our chairs, guys.
We did it, bro.
It wasn't.
This one's for you.
This
one's for you, Mom. And I want to say something about politics right now. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
No, we're not going to do that.
Take that easy.
We couldn't have done it without your help, chat.
It's huge. This chair's huge.
We're here. These chairs are the greatest chairs.
They're fantastic. Uh-oh. There we go. We're back. We're back.
It was worth it.
It was worth it, guys. So we're here with esports. Now let's take things seriously. Come on, you got the bow tie. It's looking good, though.
Thank you.
I do like it. We got a lot of Paladins action coming out. I think most importantly, if you're just joining us, you want to know exactly what this is, what this means, what is this the start of. It's basically the beginning of a journey to our land that will be coming up in April. We've got every team available, starting wesh from the ground zero. It's been a hard reset for the esports. Teams and players have switched sides. We've somehow seen some of the juggernauts actually toss players over to one side or the other. Some power struggles will be imminent here, and it's pretty much all up for grabs. We're going to see teams like Burrito and D69 trying to just make it again like we all started over from the beginning. So, I mean, this is pretty much prove it now that you're the best.
Absolutely. It's like Bonkar did at HRX. He proved himself. Now he's on Burrito, and there's been kind of a big trickle-down effect, I think, from that. You know, I think we had Crowd go to Interlopers today, who are playing District 69 in the finals. So as the scene is developing, there's a lot of big names out there on a lot of these teams that are pushing further and further, pushing Burrito harder, they're pushing District 69 harder. Everyone has to get better if they want to qualify this time around.
It was also pretty interesting. Nick and I had the pleasure of casting ESL earlier this weekend. We saw Interlopers there. There's a lot more community tournaments going on in the scene. So make sure you get involved in the community, get involved here in the official forum to get yourself a seat to the LAN. Let's take a look at actually what these teams will win in terms of their victories and placings today. We go off a point system, and this will be 4 weeks of qualifications running to see who will be invited into the Masters qualifiers. That, of course, will be similar to your fall champion circuit. And if you take a look on your screen here, you'll see that first place grabs 100 pointaroos, second gets 60, third gets 40, fourth gets 25, and then fifth through eighth, they kind of, you know, leave off with
10. We've seen teams come back. To be fair, we've seen teams come back after finishing with those 10-point finishes. If you come through, we had some upsets in the EV's Winter Classic, guys that come through and win that big 100-point pot, and you know, they find themselves, they only need to be in the top 4 out of this open bracket to qualify into the Masters qualifiers.
Yeah, so it's obviously every point matters, and I believe if you're beyond you know, looking at sometimes just the points, sometimes your momentum matters as well, going into the open bracket, just facing off against certain teams that maybe you're more familiar with, or maybe you haven't seen in a while. Interlopers, we talked about them. They faced off against a bunch of new names, and they're also now meeting one of the oldest names in the esports scene for Europe. That's District 69, and Burrito Esports have battled their way up against the newly formed SkitLite, which is a team of a bunch of people we've seen previously: Makiii, Water, Sorsa, Second, all of these guys coming together under a new brand and organization. So these are 2 dynamite games that we're pretty excited to see.
Yeah, SkitLite, and if I remember correctly, I believe they did, you know, show potential to take games off Burrito. I think in the ESL, I think the final score was 2-1 or something like that. And then Interlopers as well have a big name. Burrito's sub that they brought to HRX, Crowder, is actually on this squad. So a lot of star power for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting day for sure. We will be covering each semifinal and the finals. These are best of 5s, if you were just wondering what the amount of games these teams need to play. So they'll have to win 3 over some very strong opponents. Let's start with the maps for the set that we will be watching first. Burrito versus SkitLite. Timber Mill and Ice Mines are banned out. Now, Frog Owl will be our first choice, Nick, and they're going to, you know, guarantee to play 3 maps. I mean, the new map, Stone Keep, that's available as well. We may see some different map rotations here.
That's very true. You know, we've got new maps, we've got new champions. These bans, though, from Burrito, a little interesting that they ban out the Timber Mill with, they have so many good players in terms of long range. Kinesis and Shaolin's our tops here, but I mean, Water's Shaolin is pretty disgusting as far as that goes. What is interesting though is the Ice Mines ban, because this is you know, as an underdog banning this against, you know, the reigning champions Burrito. This is a map that oftentimes can give you that 3-3 scenario where you can take it all against a team that might be outweighing you just a little bit. But Frog Isle, the big thing here for me is I want to see some Torvald in this map.
Oh,
I was
baby.
playing this morning, and legit, every game there was a Torvald on this map, and my Torvald pulled a quadra kill with his hyper beam off the map, clutched the game for us.
Oh man, he's so valuable with that ultimate. It can change a game. Also, one of the things we saw be some of maybe the Achilles heel of Torvald is feeling that you have to save it for that ultimate moment where you get your top play, rather than just maybe using it to isolate or buy some time or some space for your team.
And that's what's even good about Frog Isle is that at any point in a round, hyper beam has kill potential on Frog Isle. That's the big key for me here.
All right, so let's go to the champion draft, see which teams will take which champions into this game one, this best of 5. It's the Paladins Open Qualifiers starting now with the champion draft. And it looks like Burrito will have the first selection, the winners of the Hi-Rez Invitational. And the first selection is Makiii.
So SkitLite with the opportunity to answer back here with the Ruckus Maldamba, if we're going to stick to that. This is what I'm saying. You know, we've had some downtime where the teams have had time to themselves, where no one's really watching them draft or speculating on their strategies, and now they're coming back into this. Now they have a chance to kind of mix things up or just kind of go with what they know, what they've seen. You know, SkitLite is an up-and-coming team. Do they just copy what they've seen from Burrito?
Good question.
Or do they look to blaze a trail of their own?
Well, I think a trail blazed right here would have been maybe picking up a Fernando and a Torvald at this moment. They go with something a little bit more standard with the Maldamba.
Yeah.
Take away some of the pocket healing potential if they do go for a secondary tank like a Ruckus on Burrito, which I like, but they leave up some very dangerous damage dealers on the table, that being Drogos, that also potentially being Shaolin here. And there it is. Shaolin gets selected, a very, very good pick, not only for Burrito, bonkar being able to play him very well, winning the championship on this map with this champion, but taking it away from Waters as well.
Absolutely. So that's going to be a highly contested pick in this series for sure. Drogo, something we didn't see a lot at HRX. Eevee goes 6th in the draft. That's very interesting to see. But Drogos, they didn't really, yeah, exactly. That's another good point for Europe. But Drogos didn't really see a lot of play in HRX, so it's good to see that he is back. I was just wondering, I was dumbfounded the whole time we weren't seeing him. Cassie locked in as well for SkitLite.
So Ying is the final support pick that Burrito are hovering. And there is one more selection here. Usually we see teams go with some secondary tank options, but they have 2 healers now on the board. So they're going to go with some additional sustain rather than counting on the shields.
No Ruckus so far.
The shield taking away power of
No Ruckus whatsoever.
And Victor will be selected as well. Not a bad pick, though, Victor, Nick. I mean, the ability for him to barrage down on the open points for Frog Isle, there's really a lot of space for him to make those grenades work in that long-distance line of sight that he has.
Absolutely. And I'm actually curious, what is Laizy going to play in this lineup?
Croc.
You think?
I don't know. We'll see. Laizy, he's on Drogos. This is very, very surprising.
Bonkar's on Grok, huh?
Of course, Leminate, one of the new players as well, added to Burrito. He's shooting the arrows. Let's see if he can shoot them into his enemies today on the side of Burrito. Before this game gets started, let's introduce the players. Laizy on Drogos, Bonkar on Grok, Thiel on his famous Makiii, Bird will be on the Ying, and Leminate on Shaolin.
Their opponents today fighting out of the red corner, the right side of your spectator UI. SkitLite will have 2nd on Maldamba, Waters on Cassie, Makiii on Victor, Sorsa on Eevee, and WesTo rounding things out on Fernando. 3 cauterizes right off the bat for SkitLite on all great characters, able to spread that around very effectively and shut down both of these healers coming out from Burrito.
Bonkar going on the right-hand side. He's got a little bit of wiggle room as a flank, potentially to pressure out some of the backline targets with that shock pulse, get the slows, get some damage because of the fact that he's got another healer on his side that could help his tank stay alive. Thiel goes in to join the battle as well, and Eevee there, she's blinking back and forth, trying to find an opening, and the damage is done by Bird, though. Ying, the healer, gets the first kill, and that shock pulse hits 3. That's slowing all of them, and Grok looking to maintain the constant DPS, allowing Laizy to get into the backline. And Nick, 66% and counting. It doesn't look like SkitLite can even see the point.
Just favorable positioning right now from Burrito. They got that Grok dug in. A nice trench for Makiii to fall back to should he need it. This is going to be very effective composition early game, and the Frog Isle is a map where Burrito is going to be able to put this game away very quickly, and that's exactly what they're going to be able to look to do here.
They're looking to put it away quickly, and they've already done the 25% of the job, essentially. They've got 1 point out of 4 that they'll need, and 2 minutes and 12 seconds for them to push this payload to completion and get themselves another point. Of course, if they're able to defend SkitLite, they will be going into a 1-1 tie to start next round. So very important for both teams here what happens in the next 2 minutes.
So Leminate moving up here. The new player added to the roster of Burrito goes down. Waters picks up one. Sorsa gets bonkar in the backline. That's going to be the full retreat call likely from Burrito right there. It's a tough corner to break, and Burrito find themselves broken as they try to round about the halfway point of this payload push. Now just getting back from spawn. Notable ultimates on board, going to be that barrage. Looks like it was the first one to come online. We have Heat Haze available just as well, but ultimates are starting to creep around that 70 to 80% mark, so look for these to start flying in the next team fight.
And that is the benefit of Victor, bringing that AoE damage and that presence from long range, able to charge up that ultimate and be very effective with a large AoE damage burst on anyone who cannot have their movement ability up. And of course, Fernando, he's one to pressure, but he's getting healed by Moldava. But that healing does nothing under the constant pressure of bonkar and Leminate. A great Tempest is going to help Thiel catch up to second and pull him down. A shock pulse as well will slow, but sorsa will come into the back line and in the Grok Shaman's dreams. There's Evie blinking away.
Mistimed.
Luckily able to escape with her life, but 52 seconds and counting. Things are looking good for Burrito.
Bonkar would have hit that impale. Laizy coming in with the Dragon Punch right now. Doesn't find anyone. Ice Storm comes out, but also off the mark. Heat Haze still available. 40 seconds remain into Planet, trying to shred this Fernando shield down. First things first.
Great use of Wrecker as well. 1,200 instead of the usual 1,000. Double kill for Thiel. 33 seconds, but they don't need any of them because they're going to go ahead and take a 2-0 lead over SkitLite early on in this game one. And so, Nick, all of a sudden, it's time to look at the items, time to look at what's going right and what's going wrong for both these teams.
Yep, used a couple of ultimates there. Illusory Rift from Bird was popped. Ice Storm popped. Barrage popped as well, but still, Ancient Rage is on the table. Heat Haze is on the table. Dragon Punch was used but missed, so staying at that 42% mark is going to be Laizy. Having that available sooner rather than later here. These Cauterizes still only level 1 for SkitLite. They're going to be down heavily in the net worth department. As you can see, Burrito, the colors are just flying here. Laizy with Haven 2, Cauterized 2's already online for Bird and Thiel. Leminate with 3 items on the board, Nimble, Haven, and Wrecker. He's blasting through Fernando's shield already. Just a little bit more utility heading into this round.
Fernando is a very tough champion to excel with on Frog Isle. He's got to need a lot of support and a lot of backline and damage diving because there is the zone coming out from the Dragon, but he goes down thanks to Sorsa, who gets a double kill, and this is exactly what Fernando needed. He still goes down nonetheless. Thiel helping to clean up on the Isle, and oh my god, Frog Isle is getting the incredible cleanup crew that they need from Burrito, and it's serving to give them 17% and counting on the point.
They spent so much for Bird, though. 3 people and a Dread Serpent for 1 member of Burrito, right? And they were able to just flank around. They committed so much to being pincered there and just cleaned up. Great job adjusting to that fight from Burrito.
Well, I'm impressed too the way that they were able to use one ultimate to really turn things around. The added life that Thiel was able to have with that Ancient Rage gave him and his team enough maneuverability, even after Sorsa picked up 2, to really have an impact and push the entire team of SkitLite back. But there's Victor with that DPS, with that Immortal range, runs straight into the Fernando. This is great use. That last cannonball does not kill him, and therefore he is going down.
But they just forgot about Thiel in the backline that whole time, just completely ignored. He goes down to Sorsa. In the end, Sorsa with a triple kill. Sorsa trying to hold on for SkitLite. 96% for Burrito, but Dragon Punch is online for Laizy. That could... never mind.
Sorsa.
Never mind.
With the blink over the top, and Laizy goes down. And again, they forgot about Thiel, Nick, but what happened during that entire time was 3 members were saved. The Victor stayed alive thanks to that incredible Immortal and the timing of that scramble being able to get him over where he needed to be. And so it looks like SkitLite, despite having lost some of the earlier plays, are looking like they could easily cap this. It's 99%. Overtime starts to tick away, and both teams are fighting for it with a Dragon Punch coming out, looking for the Fernando. It's going to take him down. Sorsa, though, takes down Laizy. Thiel takes down Sorsa. Now Burrito have reclaimed this point for potentially the last time, but here's the Dread Serpent.
Thiel going down right now. Leminate on the backside, double kill, and Burrito able to sneak that one away. The big turning point for me in that fight was when Sorsa was on Eevee, saw him start to Dragon Punch, and actually wormholed out of that fight instead of taking Laizy out. Laizy gets the Dragon Punch off onto Fernando, does trade out in the end, but taking down the sole frontliner of SkitLite was enough to give the room for Leminate to just shred through the rest of that squishy backline.
There's such a big windup for that Dragon Punch. He had the ability to stay there, but also also a little bit nervous. Instinctually, I think you just run away from that sound. But of course, if you really took a look at that scenario, like we were sitting in the booth, it was a lot easier to just try to go ahead and get rid of that threat by killing them with damage. There's the shock bolt. It's not going to do much. Sorsa comes over with the blink and slays a bonkar who is playing the Grok. There goes WesTo. So Leminate, Laizy now with free reign, trying to push these boys into a conversion, into a game 1 win over SkitLite.
Sorsa playing lights out on this Eevee right now. Doesn't have the ultimate available just yet, but one more shot will get it there. We have Scout and Barrage online. Second goes down, so no healing available for SkitLite at this moment. Ancient Rage still available. Thiel is playing aggressive. He is likely to pop it.
There it is. That's the Ancient Rage. He's grown a lot older and he's gotten a lot tougher. 10k HP won't go down quickly, but Fernando, despite the Immortal, will fall ultimately by the hands of the Turtle, by the Cannonball more importantly. And it seems like Second is just content to stand there knowing that his death is imminent. Waters drops down, but that drop is just a little too deadly for the Hunter's Daughter at this time. And so SkitLite go down 1-0 and fall to the Behemoths, the champions Burrito.
SkitLite, they played well. They were winning, you know, a couple of those fights here and there, just barely off the mark of capturing that point. I really think Laizy being able to get that Dragon Punch off was kind of the turning point here, but they're showing a lot of promise, right? On a lot of these champions that are important to Burrito, the Cassie, the Eevee, especially Sorsa, playing a dominant game on that. We were saying his name a lot. If his teammates can step up and make some plays when he's not down, when he goes down, it's going to be a good look for SkitLite.
Well, it was such a quick game as well. They went with 2 healers. The Cauterizers couldn't get off and be as effective, and so they ended up winning very, very fast. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, see exactly what stats took place for all the members on those teams. And you see there, bonkar playing the Grok, added a little bit of 14,000 healing, added a little bit of damage as well. Wasn't too mesmerizing, only died 5 times like the rest of his team, but still, you know, that extra 14,000 was 14,000 that unfortunately SkitLite didn't have.
And it's almost for him. That 14,000 is probably a little bit on Thiel, a little bit on him. Just trying to hold down the front line, make that snowball happen, I think is the name of the game here. You mentioned the Cauterizes. SkitLite weren't able to get those Cauterized 2s going into round number 2, so that they were able to continue to abuse this double healer, keep the snowball alive. Had this game gone later, had SkitLite captured the payload in round number 2 and forced us to round 3, maybe a round 4, it could have been a very different story.
Well, you know, the other thing that to me, I think, showed here is that Fernando kind of struggles on Frog Isle a little bit. I think when you have a Drogos and a Shaolin on the other team, really good picture record, really safe picture record that actually Fernando has trouble getting to because they can do their damage from such long range and also from aerial heights in terms of the Drogos. He suffers because his shield goes down so quickly, and then he is really a sitting duck in that map.
You can see 8 deaths, the most in the game there, and only 47 objective time. They were almost able to capture that objective time, given that where you look at Bird, who had 176 just sitting on the capture point in the payload while his team was able to hold down the forward zone. And that little trench, I think that bonkar formed with Grok, anytime anyone needed to retreat off of the high ground for that healing, he was always there. He was a rock for his team.
Yeah, let's go to the maps and see where game 2 will be played between Burrito and SkitLite. Serpent Beach is the selection, so mixing it up, going to a nighttime theme and hoping to get themselves back in the set.
Absolutely. We'll see if Androxus comes out here, a character that does a little bit better with more of the corridor. There's more line of sights for him to break. On Frog Isle, he struggles a little bit. Not a character that excels from range, but Burrito can play this. Can SkitLite play it against him? That's going to be the name of the game. SkitLite, thus far, showing that they have what it takes to not only take away key champions from Burrito, but to play them very effectively. Eevee definitely in that last game was a shining star for them, and that's terrifying to have that on Bird, have it on Laizy. Bird, I think with the pickup for Leminate, I'm assuming Laizy's going to be on the Eevee most all of the time, and he's going to probably fall back to that support and that flexible role.
They have so many flexible players, too. It's one of the strengths of Burrito now. It's not that they didn't know how to play before. They didn't have great players, but all of them now, you know, with Laizy, with Bird, that flexibility comes through, and just the ability they have to pick champions you may not expect and still do well. We're ready for the champion draft, too, so we can go and see exactly who will be played. And I think that's the most important thing to see in this game. What will happen with the draft, and where will Burrito put their eggs, and where will, I think, SkitLite put their eggs now? What will they prioritize?
They've got a very you know, great roster with that pickup to Leminate, who plays those dangerous hyper carries, Sha-Lins, Kinessas, maybe some Angeroxes here and there, but I think Bird being as flexible as he is and having mastery of those support characters, as well as being able to hop into the Eevee, the Drogos, the Kinessa, the Angeroxes, literally anything else, we've seen him play at a top tier level.
All right, so let's take a look. Burrito still with the first pick, so they will be opting. They went with Makiii last time.
They'll probably stick with that.
And the Makiii, the comfort pick for their tank, the front line, controlling the pace so much in Paladins, are the frontline champions, and a very safe pick. Things went well for them last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep, Aldama going to be locked in. Thinking about whether they want Fernando this early on. They will take it Thiel and Laizy, very dangerous on Fernando. We've seen them both. They're kind of forced into it. Burrito probably won't go the same route. The Sha-Lin, I think, is, you know, very likely is here. Yep. With the Drogos here, I think, you know, those will be the same 3 picks. Sha-Lin, I don't expect them to let that one through. But we could see, you know, largely the same run back of the draft at this point.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I don't think that SkitLite had...
Maybe not the Grok.
I think SkitLite's map, the map for Fernando and Maldamba, that open space was just a little bit too much for them. In many ways, you think, oh, Maldamba has access to heal people from far away and stay under cover, but I think Fernando, that pace of their fight was determined too much by how quickly his shields got burnt down. So he has a lot more room to duck and cover here on Serpent Beach, a lot more aisles to kind of get away and make them really commit to going into the backline if they want to take him down. And their Eevee Cassie gets selected, all the comfort picks, but here's the change, Nick. Ruckus.
There's the Ruckus, the swap to the double frontliner here. This will likely take the place of Grok. Grok could still fit in here, but it will be the Ying to round that out. Probably going to have Bird on the Ying. I'll be interested to see who plays the Ruckus. I know bonkar has the ability to play.
Might be a troll. Might be a troll here. I don't know, man.
If you pick that up here and not Frog Isle, though, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't even react. You didn't get me.
No.
Couldn't get me there. Come on.
And Torvald, a character that relies heavily on consuming the shields of the enemy team. And Ruckus, you know, he is a frontliner, but so much of his mitigation comes from Pulsar Field, not so much from emitter. Emitter is only 3,000 of your shield. And if you regenerate as Torvald, you're getting close to 3,000. You're getting 2,200-ish shield, depending on your loadout, that you're able to just recharge on your own. So not a great look to pick up the Torvald in this situation.
Yeah, and there's just not a lot of great uses for the ultimate as well to get maximum value. Not a lot of places to knock people off the map where he'll be standing, which is near the capture objective. Here it is, game 2 coming up between Burrito and SkitLite. Burrito 1-0 over the boys. Leminate on Sha-Lin, bonkar on Ruckus, Laizy on Drogos, Bird on Ying, and Thiel on Makiii.
SkitLite will have Sorsa back on Eevee, Walters back on Cassie, second back on Maldamba, Makiii back on Victor, and WesTo back on Fernando. 2 cauterizes immediately out of the gate, 2 wreckers as well, 3 cauterizes and 1 wrecker. Going to be the name of the game for Burrito.
Morale boost also onto the Maldamba, trying to get that Dread Serpent alive and well. And oh my god, Sorsa taking a lot of poke there. So is Sha-Lin as well in the back line. All of these champions are dealing with it. Great advance by bonkar to get himself under cover in a safe spot. Fernando gets stunned there and coming down to the ground. He needs to be careful. And there's Laizy just finding himself around this corner, getting healed up by Ying. This is a pretty good point fight for both teams so far. 2 deployable clones just pocketed right there. So much healing for Burrito. Any sort of poke that SkitLite is landing right now is just getting healed up, and given that they have the double frontliner, they're more confident heading onto the point. First blood finally going to fall for Burrito. Laizy gets the first blood onto Makiii, and so 57% and counting on the point. Burrito are finding themselves in the driver's seat again for this game 2. And now it really is up to SkitLite to make something happen. Cassie, she's dodge rolling in the back line, but she hasn't found a target. She's gotten poked out a lot. She's going to need to make a move right here and quickly. And again, WesTo goes down. Bird's constant DPS, a double kill from Ying. Don't put Ying on the highlight reel. Nice! What? Oh my god, a triple kill coming out from Ying. Bird is just showcasing this healer.
I mean,
at another level.
The quad at HRX with Ruckus, the triple kill here.
Quad with Grover too.
With Ying, just I don't know, man. That is a highlight flex player right there in Bird. Not only being able to play all these characters, but have those clutch moments, those triple kills, those quadra kills with some of these off the beaten path characters. When, you know, he's almost a master of all at this point. He's shown that he has the ability to play all of these characters, always putting his team in the situation to win, running the drafts, giving his team that space to draft, you know, whenever they get it. he's going to be able to play it.
You need that selfless player. You need that person who's going to do what's best for your squad. And it just seems like Fernando hasn't been able to find his rhythm there. Great healing by Moldamba to keep him alive and keep him in a little bit of a safety zone. But bonkar, Makiii, what you doing, buddy? Bonkar's just banging away with these laser beams, and he is going to take you down if you step anywhere near his line of fire. And that's exactly what you did. The victor falls. SkitLite cannot hold right now. It's a minute and 27 seconds left, but again, it's looking like Burrito's not going to need all that time.
Hexafire is available. Dragon Punch is available. He's going to rip through the last of that shield and blast WesTo down. Zoning coming through. Everyone participating in these kills. There is a lot of snowballing going on for Burrito right now. 2 ultimates used to punch that one through.
They're getting in their head right now, Nick. You know, they're not even letting him out of base. They did need to do that. They're just flaunting that they are a better team right now. Is this something SkitLite needs to deal with immediately, not let themselves get tilted?
Absolutely. You know, the momentum is definitely on Burrito's side, especially being so close. We don't know the comms of SkitLite, but being so close to that capture point, playing that fight very largely, especially if you're sorsa, it's got to be a little bit frustrating to not get that, then go down another 2-0 to Burrito here. Cauterize 2's online for bonkar, Bird, and Thiel, so a lot of anti-healing. Second is already going to be struggling to pump these numbers out. Wrecker 1's online to try and do what they can to punch through a lot of shielding, but I just feel like there's not a ton of shielding coming out right now. Thiel very rarely puts out his shield. It's only to, you know, protect Laizy or whoever he's bodyguarding. And Ruckus, like I said, that's only a 3,000 shield. That's 1 or 2 shots.
Well, so much damage initially in these fights are getting poked out. Finally, Laizy takes a bit of damage. There's the Dread Serpent. They want to focus the carry on Burrito, but they cannot find him. They don't convert anything, and now Thiel gets a kill on the second after a very good, well-timed Dread Serpent that could have changed the fight, but they just had no damage to follow it up.
Absolutely. Laizy here, 45%. Bird already closing in on his second Illusory Rift ultimate. That's just a AoE, spawns a crystal basically on all of his teammates to just give them a little personal pocket healing. So this is why Burrito is just, they're always healthy with this Ying, especially with Bird landing constant damage, keeping that ultimate charged up. 70% already on the point, looking to close things out early.
Well, not only is Burrito making a statement right now, SkitLite, they're finding themselves without words currently because they, the new team, new org, trying to make themselves a bit of a name, getting to the semifinals and being shut out so far, haven't won a point. And this is definitely something they want to change eventually. Objective captured. It will continue to go this route heavily in Burrito's favor. And 3-0 is the score. SkitLite still with a goose egg.
Just failing to convert on the kills has been the big issue for SkitLite. Laizy escaping narrowly every single time with less than 500 HP and being able to retreat back to Bird and get healed up. And even in combat, the fact that they're losing so hard, they only have the Cauterize on 1. So Bird's healing is still effective in these fights.
He's trying to be everywhere that he needs to be. And that's a good captain for your squad. He's healing, he's doing damage when he needs to. That's the unseen value of Ying. But here's the Dragon. You can see this value right here, looking for 1. And he's gonna get him the healer on the side of SkitLite. Goes down. That is second, falling to Laizy. Leminate takes down sorsa as well, so no Winter Witch. Nice shot by Waters, though. Will end Laizy's day. And can Waters and the team of SkitLite make a bit of a comeback here?
Escaping with 500 health. Now Waters into the backline. This is the kind of picks. This is what swings fights here. When Laizy goes down, Waters gets into the backline here, but he's missing shot after shot on Leminate. Leminate only took 1 shot. He's wholly and healthy right now. Finds the kill onto sorsa, pops the heat haze to do it, but comes back with a double kill.
Makiii goes in there, but the code green skin will not save his life. In fact, he's looking like a very green soldier there. Not a great positioning for the victor. And I got to tell you, this Ruckus, he's exactly where he needs to be at this moment. That's going to do it. That's the victory. 4-0. Easy wipe.
That is the exact same Hexafire we saw in the previous round, too, that picked up WesTo. Yeah. Over there on the high ground, positioned perfectly. Bonkar, Burrito, flawless. And this is a big statement as well with the roster change. Yeah. You know, they lost Spunky and they gained a Leminate, and they're still just showing no signs of slowing down. He's fit in perfectly, meshing with the guys, practicing with them, streaming a good bit too. So shout out to Leminate. Shout out
to, you know, I think Burrito as an organization putting together, again, a very strong performance. They won the Champions, Paladins Invitational on HRX, and then still come through first week in open bracket qualifiers and do not take their foot off the gas pedal.
No, these guys are machines.
Really going through. Let's head to the scoreboard and break down some of the stats for the end of the game.
So right off the bat here, looking at top damage, Leminate again on the shot. It's a little bit to be expected here, but playing it so consistently. 18-0, 19-0 for Bird, 12-1 for Thiel. Laizy feeding on Burrito with 3 deaths there. He escaped a few times, 35k damage, was able to beat out bonkar there. But that's just that, I think, is the name of the game here. So few deaths on Burrito. Across 2 rounds, a total of 6 deaths. Just not how you're going to get it done against these guys, for sure. You have to be able to convert target call, find the kills. Sorsa was a little bit quiet that game as well, too, and 8 deaths, the most in the game. When he wasn't firing, there was no one else really stepping up. But Burrito is a very good team, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to take anything away from SkitLite at this point.
Yeah, and I see, you know, a couple of things with this group right now. You know, Makiii, they seem to really like the Victor, and you know, I'm not mad at that. I just think if it is broke, you might want to adjust a few things.
Yeah. It's with no Eevee though on the side of Burrito, it really is an okay pick. With no flank pressure, it's fine. It's doing a lot of damage. It's not dying too much.
He's just getting the problem is he doesn't have that easy escape from like a Drogo's fire spit, or you know, if someone there's that real gap closer that you need, and he's getting bursted out, and I don't know, his fight impact doesn't seem like it's enough for me onto the tanks. He's just being pressured a little bit. I mean, it's kind of weird to say, but I could even see a Tyra being a little bit more effective as to what they're doing. I mean, at least the Molotov you could throw on there and guarantee 9 seconds or 6 seconds, however, of, you know, Ruckus and Bird stepping off the point for a little bit. Might have saved them a couple of bit of percentage, but we'll see what they go with next. I would expect maybe a slight lineup change.
Maybe they steal the Shaolin away in there with their first answer backs. You know, Burrito have had first pick every time. It's very easy to play around Makiii hook, but they haven't had it. The way I think this comp is best executed is if Makiii and Waters can land some poke in the backline on Leminate, Bird, Laizy, anyone really. And then Sorsa has to go in and finish that target.
Yeah.
It can't be this lone wolf style of play. It has to be coordinated against Burrito, especially in that double frontliner. It's going to be very tough to crack.
Absolutely. All right, so here's the third map, Stone Keep.
Let's go.
This is exciting. The brand new map that's been introduced into Paladins. This is the first official form that we will see this map in competitive for Hi-Rez Studios, for Paladins, the game here, and the open qualifiers. So we're really excited about this. Nick, talk to us about Stone Keep and what this map kind of dictates the players do.
So during the point fight, there is a lot of verticality. I think it's really the only 3-tiered verticality I think you can say about Paladins. You can see kind of that cathedral in the backdrop there of the picture above the point, and it does have that 3-tier, so a lot of verticality. I really expect to see an Androxus here because he is a character that, you know, thrives in the nature of verticality. There's nowhere really where you can hide from him, where you're going to be safe from him. Not a ton of long lines of sight, so I don't know if we'll see anything like a Grover or a Kinessa Shaolin is effective with or without, I think, long lines of sight. Always having that Impaler arrow into planted. Kill potential is pretty high for him anywhere on the map, especially when it's being driven by Leminate. But Waters' Shaolin is so good that, you're right, at this point, down 2-0, haven't scored a point. You know, what's it going to hurt to change something up? Just change up the draft. You know, maybe let him get Fernando or Maldamba, but I would like to see the Shaolin taken away.
Yeah, for me, it's let's experiment. Let's test our draft. Let's test some different picks. You know, if I'm a player coming into this and I'm thinking to myself, you know, we're going to run up against the big dogs eventually if we get far enough. Let's have some back pocket strategies we want to see that might be able to work, that could give us some promise that we can take back. Because, you know, if you're going to beat the big boys, you're probably going to have to innovate. It's going to be hard to just come up and
it can't get any worse.
You know, it
got nowhere to go but up right now.
That's true. I wouldn't mind seeing a Torvald on here either. He could definitely have some highlight plays with some of this. Definitely after the payload cart gets captured and it goes to that first kind of triangle or that turn, that right turn around, you could definitely get 3 or 4 people, and even on the point fight, you can get 3 or 4 people off. There's a little bit of an archway that you can blast a few off. So Torvald could be an interesting selection here.
He can always be an interesting selection.
I feel like that's where they've been falling off, and I think with Victor dying so much, I mean, those shields could definitely have helped, you know, Makiii stay alive. He did a lot of damage. He just was not, you know, I think as effective as they wanted him to be for the Victor pick.
You know, unless Torvald gets some more range, gets some more stick-to-itiveness, I think protection might be the sort of play style for him, right?
Yeah.
If you take the card to reduce the cooldown on that, you take Chronos on top of it, it's only a 4 or a 5 second cooldown at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of, it's tough to take people down or burst people down in that situation. It's a good answer against Makiii. I mean, they gotta do something at this point. And then you know, he's not a walking ultimate exactly, but he kind of is.
Yeah.
Where that ultimate can do so much. That ultimate can single-handedly, you know, you could put that in a brand new player's hands and he could, you know, punch through a point fight with that.
And I got to tell you, they've been getting 2-0'd. I mean, I think this would at least maybe stop that. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you could just at least, if Ruckus is
Burrito haven't played against it a lot.
They haven't. That's true. EU doesn't really like it. Let's head the champion draft to see who will be selected in this upcoming match. And will Torvald, the brand new Granddaddy Torvald, who's entered the realm, will he be selected by either Burrito or SkitLite? I wouldn't think Burrito, because they've been winning. And if you're on winning ways, keep doing what you're doing. So Makiii gets selected first, but will SkitLite make any adjustments here?
I think the Shaolin pickup here would be great. Shaolin, Fernando, even you could maybe afford to give up Maldamba. Fernando is going to be locked in, but Waters is a very good Shaolin, so that's the adjustment I would like to see, but they are going to run it back here. You know, we say, you know, mix something up, and it could be that much more dangerous if you let Fernando and Maldamba go over to Burrito as well.
No, that's true. That's true, but again, you know, we'll see. What are they favoring? They may not pick it either way. I think Burrito, they're very flexible. They know that they're going to keep doing what they're doing. If this just runs the same way, they're probably going to be okay and content sticking with it. But look, Shaolin giving up, actually. They take the Cassie. This may be a bit of confidence from Burrito saying, I just want to play Cassie this game. Or could say, maybe we think Cassie's a little bit better on this map than Shaolin.
Taking the Grok away is SkitLite, so showing maybe that they're looking to go for a snowball victory over Burrito before those cauterizers come into play. Ruckus here. This is going to be the call, but picking this into a Drogos here, I mean, Burrito could even go Bomb King at this point, I feel, and just smash this point up, because they are going to be all over Planet. Another good option for them. SkitLite with double healer double front line is going to be so clumped up. It's just going to be how much stopping power can Burrito draft to try and punch through this.
I don't mind this, though. I think they're missing range. They're missing range here. Despite Ruckus having a little bit of range and reach, and Grover's gonna do it.
Here's the switch up, man.
Well, you know, Nick, we said if it ain't, you know, if you're down, you can't hurt.
Nowhere
right?
to go but
There's
up.
nowhere to go but up, and this is exactly what they're really putting our words to the test here.
I like it.
3 healers and 2 tanks.
I'm excited to see it.
SkitLite trying to make it happen against Burrito. Will it happen? Or will this be one of the biggest failures we've ever seen in the Paladins esports?
You know,
realm?
shout outs to these guys, though. They just lost 4-0 in 9 minutes, like just over 9 minutes. It literally can't get any worse, so just trying to figure it out. You know, not being stubborn, making these adaptations, I think, is what is going to make these guys great someday. SkitLite, Makii's going to be on Grover, second back on Maldamba, Waters on Grok, Sorsa on Ruckus, and WesTo on Fernando.
And Burrito will find Leminate on Cassie, Bonkar on Shaolin, Laizy on Drogos, Thiel on Makiii, and Bird on Ying. As this point continues to start, we are going to look at a brand new map here, Stonekeep again. First time we've been seeing this in the competitive scene. And both of these teams looking to potentially flank on this upper ridge. This control is very important, but they're so brutal. Fire spec! Oh, he missed it. That is huge. The block from the Fernando shield is so important to that. And there's Ruckus, and now this could turn poor, but Bonkar gets a kill on the Waters, and that's exactly what Burrito needed.
There's just so much damage coming out of this Drogos right now. Bonkar, Leminate, Laizy, you're seeing the names all over the kill feed. They have so much damage, so many wreckers as well, to just punch through that death ball composition. 51%, 45% already on Laizy's ultimate there, 47% on Heat Haze, 42 on Scout. These guys got a ton of damage done in that fight.
Well, they're going to go pause that game, Nick. They're going to say, fellas.
Lag. We were lagging. That's why we lost that fight.
You know, something didn't go right on that fight. Did you guys notice that? When we all died, I think we need to make an adjustment here. I think part of it, too, is that they took a really close quarters fight against, you know, Shaolin, who could easily plant. They took one against Drogos, who could fire spit. Despite him missing it, he got 2,000 or 3,000 damage off easily with those first 2 rockets.
He still got another 6,600 damage in that clip.
Yeah, and then force them all separate. I mean, it was not their favor to fight that fight. They only had defense. There was no way they offensively beat Burrito in that close engagement. They're looking to do it again, but the clump is so good for Drogos. They're literally being countered. They picked into this counter, unfortunately, and the healers, trying to be a early game composition, are just falling and falling to their knees in prayer to the Dragon Lord here. He is just ruling the skies with just no question.
Slow-moving, big targets being ripped apart by Drogos. That was my biggest concern for this composition going into the Drogos from Burrito. It's proven to be pretty effective here. He's got his Dragon Punch available. Literally any target that you hit is worth at that point. All of those targets are pretty tanky on SkitLite. I think 2650 is going to be the lowest HP on Maldamba for that squad there. So just basically free reign with this Dragon Punch.
They're just staying in there, and I get it. And I think, you know what, maybe if they get a pick on the Laizy, they can win this fight. I think that's what they need to look at. If Laizy goes down, if Grover can land a crippling axe throw onto him, they can get him, but there's no time. There's so many kills. Double kill from Laizy, triple kill, quadra kill. It's looking like Laizy is going off, and bonkar picks up the final selection and ends the trees. So there is no Grover on this battlefield. Pretty much there's nobody on the side of SkitLite that can contend, and there's just no range to be able to deal with this dragon who's in the skies, Nick.
Yep, just inches away from conversion right now. Dread Serpent comes through, so this is the potential for SkitLite to turn this around. They find Laizy, they find Bird. Thiel answers back. bonkar still on the high ground. So much damage here. The Whirlwind's going to keep everyone from SkitLite alive for the time being, but for how long?
No, they can win this fight. I mean, if Drogos is not in this fight, that's why I'm saying, you know, if they get rid of the Drogos, they're okay. But the fact that he is still here and is been so hard to deal with is...
He respawns.
Exactly. And the fact that they just don't have range. That's the problem with this comp. They don't have range to be able to deal with them in the air.
SkitLite's composition is designed to win the point fight. And if they don't, then they're likely to lose the round. Sorsa getting a double with the Hexafire. This isn't a high kill potential composition. This is designed to literally just throw a ton of HP and healing on the point and hope they come out with the payload there. So gonna be struggling to hold this one off. Respawn proximity though in favor of SkitLite right now. Dragon Punch gonna be that free pick to bust things open for Burrito whenever Laizy should choose.
And this is the right move. Oh my God, Thiel!
Cheeky.
Says to take it later, but he actually stays alive and does not go down. Sorsa though does follow, and that really was one of the only ways they were gonna be able to deal with Laizy, who's just floating on the backside, handling Grok. The Ghost Walk comes out and he's waiting for the fire spit damage. Only 565, and he will not die, but he's recharged his ultimate, and that's exactly what he needs. That's one of the only ones that's gonna be able to stop him here. And despite sorsa getting back onto the capture objective, his team and he himself as Ruckus will fall, and that will be a 2-0 lead again to Burrito.
Laizy's Drogos
is
solid. Like that's like
pretty solid.
Thrusting and jet flying through the air and still being able to hit, you know, precisely depth-timed fire spits around corners and stuff that's kind of like the hallmark of Drogos for me, in my opinion. Those are what the good players can do. They can, you know, I have to kind of like stand still and launch it and time it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
I can time it perfectly if I'm standing still, but not after a thrust and while descending through mid-air around a corner. So very impressed in what I'm seeing from Laizy's right now.
Yeah, he's ready to hit the BM as well. He and his team are doing so well. Burrito showing that, again, they have really not stopped at all. In fact, they've picked up speed after winning the Paladins Invitational, and they're looking to continue. Laizy, one of the star-studded players ever since this esports series began, and I love this decision. They go to the point finally,
just get straight on there and just do what you can.
And they pull up the Ruckus. If they can get rid of him, Burrito are thinking we can get rid of the only real threat to our airborne targets. But you know what? Now it's a little bit harder. We've gone for the Cauterize, and especially Leminate here, who is going Wrecker so easily with only the Fernando, but they've been able to split up their cards here. A good drafting decision, but it's not a good playstyle decision, unfortunately, not being able to counter any of the mobility and the air threats that Burrito have. And though SkitLite gets 74%, Nick, it's 24% counted now into Burrito.
Now they're coming back with Dread Serpent, with Whirlwind, with Tempest, with options to be able to punch through here, dive on the point. Burrito realizes they're getting the dismounts early, they're poking them down, they're distracting them, they're buying time right now. SkitLite, ignore them, head straight to the point. Ignore Laizy right now, ignore Leminate, get on the point. That's your only chance. They're popping the Tempest, they're looking for it.
This is good. They want to keep their teammates alive. It's actually going to do it. They're very alive. Spring has come. This is going to be very hard for Burrito to get them off the point. They're going to have to do a lot. Thiel is going down. Can Ruckus doesn't even look at Thiel at this point. What is happening? He's going to hook you, and he's going to make you fall, and there it is. Sorsa, WesTo get a kill, 99%, and overtime is taking away. Can SkitLite finally come through, or will it hit haste from bonkar in their spree? There it is. bonkar gets one. He's looking for one more. Planet is here. He's going for Fernando. Wow. He takes down Fernando. DFL onto Grok, and bonkar saves the day. Burrito, 96% and counting, and that will be an objective captured. Good signing, Burrito. Good signing. I'm glad you saw something in this guy.
God, MVP for a reason on this champion. For a reason, absolute terror. I'm actually really curious to see his loadout, to see if he was running Planet cards. I don't know how he won that man fight. That toe-to-toe with no HP against Fernando on the point.
He had to have that card that gave him healing while he was in that, because Fernando hit him with the fire. I mean, I felt like he was almost dead.
He looks like he's got Wanderlust, though. He's moving pretty quick.
And, you know, the fact is that that damage over time could have easily killed him. The fact he was able to do that, get the impale onto the Grok, what a beautiful play coming out by bonkar. That's just why they picked him up. That's why his roster has changed. And man, that's part of the reason. That's really one of the big reasons why they were the Paladins Invitational champion in January. Now they're continuing to push 3-0. Nothing has changed.
SkitLite are tilted.
And Laizy's still alive doing his thing.
I mean, that's the adjustment though. That's how you have to play that comp if you're SkitLite. Right. They did it perfectly. I mean, God, any other player on Shaolin, I don't think would have been able to pull that off. So all things told here, that's the right move from SkitLite. I think they played it well. I'm proud of them. I am actually really proud of them.
No, yeah, that was a good adjustment. I think my only issue is when you build a composition to do something, you do it. You don't try to play to the other team.
They should have done that in the first round.
That's right. They knew Burrito wanted that left high ground. They know it's dangerous if you get him up top, but you know what? You didn't build your comp that way. Don't go into, on a freeway on a bicycle, right? You didn't purchase the right automobile, the right mode of transport to be on the freeway.
So, yeah.
Get off it. Get on the side streets. And so that's, I think, what when they finally did, they were able to find a little bit more rhythm, and unfortunately, they just didn't do it enough.
They had the ultimates available in the second round, but in the first round, they may have been able to pull it off just off a factor of Burrito didn't have their record 2s, their cauterized 2s online just yet. We'll head on over to the scoreboard here. A lot of shielding coming out from SkitLite, but a lot of damage coming out from Leminate and bonkar and Laizy. All of them breaking almost 70k there. Bonkar just shy of 70.
Only 2
That's
deaths.
Just a lot of damage
for most of the carries as well. And again, you just look at that squad. Second water sorsa, WesTo, Makiii, so talented, so good at this game. Very even numbers across the board as well. A lot of healing that they brought to the table. Decent objective time, but again, Bird, beyond anybody's expectations as a Ying. Only 2 deaths, 25k damage, not too much, but strong healing numbers, and 210 objective time. They couldn't get him up the point, couldn't deal with Bird. It's kind of the unsung hero here.
Yeah, a lot of healing, keeping up above waters, almost with second on the meltdown, but they're just flawless performance. Both teams playing their comp pretty effectively. Burrito all the way through there, though. I do like the adjustment coming out from SkitLite. I think that's the big thing that we want to point to today for this team. Coming out, not being afraid against Burrito, pulling out something different, with their backs against the wall, not getting too tilted, except when they lost that fight there, the Hexafire from downtown. But that's going to do it for this series. We'll head on over to the brackets here and take a look at what's coming up next. Burrito with the 3-0 over SkitLite will be moving on to the finals here. District 69 and Interlopers will be the next series. We cast a little bit of Interlopers on ESL.
Solid team. Really like the way that they're performing. They're going to be up against some very hard competition, though. District 69 is no team to mess with. They're one of the, if anything, highest competitors against Burrito Esports. These teams have gone back-to-back against each other since the start of the Paladins esports scene, and they're looking to face against Burrito again. In fact, they clashed in the finals of the Paladins Invitational. Burrito got the better of them there. I'm sure that District 69 has a chip on their shoulder. They want to come back with their captain Bugsy.
With Bugsy, yeah.
And say that we should have been hoisting up that trophy. We're so excited for that game, man. If it's going to be anything like this set with the hot plays that we just saw, it's going to be something you don't want to miss. But before that, District 69 versus Interlopers, they're going to be coming up right after this. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more Paladins game action. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.